Now if your parking brake in your Celica pulls up all the way but doesn't really engage your parking brakes, so the car will still roll on a very slight hill or even on level ground. That means there's an adjustment under here, under the center console, that you can make to tighten up that cable just a little bit so it'll start to grab halfway up. Now to get the console out, first you'll open up your storage, and you're going to want to remove these two bolts here. 10 millimeters, at least on my car, they're 10 millimeter socket. We'll take care of that. And then we'll pull the trim around here. We've got a screw down here on the side and in the same position on the other side. And then two screws, one right behind here and on the other side, which we'll get once this trim is out. Now this trim will need to come out next, all the way around here. It includes your ashtray. Let's start back here. Now the weak point is this part on the furthest back. Mine's already cracked. If yours is not, be extra careful because that's the spot that's going to break. But pop it up a little bit here. Not too much pressure in any one spot. And I'll kind of bring it up and towards the back of the car just a little, and there you go. For the next step, you will need your shifter back. Mine's already back, and you definitely need to, of course, need to put the key in the on position if it's a automatic. If it's a manual, you just put it into fourth gear. That should be good. Once you've got it popped out, there's one plug here that puts a light and power for your lighter there. But you just squeeze the pin on the back side, you can't see right here, and it should come out pretty easy. As long as your shifter is back, then you can pop this right out. So I've removed the two bolts in the bottom there. There's one bolt on each side right down here, another one on the same side over here, and then you got the two up here. You may need to move your gear shifter back, whether it's an automatic or manual. You'll probably want it in the center. You can pull the console back a little bit. You're going to need to pull the plug off that's underneath here. It's a wide plug. Connects. Oh, there you go. Mine wasn't in too tight, so I was able to pull it out pretty easy. Parking brake up. And it comes off pretty much like that. So once you have the console out, parking brake adjustment is those two nuts right there, just on the other side of the parking brake cable. So real easy to get to inside the car. Now these two are tightened against each other so that they don't slip. If you try to turn one, they both turn together as a pair. So you need to use a wrench on one side, socket on the other works well, or another wrench. They're both 10 millimeter. Just turn them in opposite directions. And there goes my light. Once it's loose, then you turn the bottom one to actually pull on the cable a little more if you need to tighten it up, which would be engaging the rear brakes earlier. Right now, the parking brake is up, so it's at. So we want to loosen it a bit just to make it easier. We'll see which way you have to turn this. So I'm turning it clockwise, which tightens the lower nut. It's going down the line. Let's see if that's the right direction or not. Yep, that seems to do it. The further down you go, the earlier it will engage the rear brakes. So. You can sort of feel there's a little bit of resistance, and then all of a sudden there's a bunch more. That's when I think it's really pulling the brakes. So just do your best to kind of put it in the center of the motion on the brakes. You do want an area where you can fully disengage it. You definitely don't want your rear brakes dragging as you drive, even when your parking brake's all the way down. So I'm going to call it good right there. And then hold the top one steady and loosen the bottom. That'll tighten them against each other. Just a little is fine, and you're all done. Just put the center console back. Don't forget to plug this in for your center locks. And that's basically it. Just when you test it, make sure it's not dragging when the parking brake is all the way down. That's really the only thing to watch out for.
A Toyota's a Toyota in a pagoda.